1 Peter chapter 5 verse 6. Humble yourselves. This phrase calls for a voluntary act of humility. In the biblical context, humility is a recurring theme, especially in the teachings of Jesus. Matthew chapter 23 verse 12. This aligns with the broader biblical narrative that emphasizes the importance of humility before God and others. Philippians chapter 2 verses 3 to 8. Therefore, the word therefore connects this instruction to the preceding verses, where Peter discusses the need for humility among church leaders. It serves as a conclusion to the exhortations given earlier in the chapter, emphasizing that humility is a response to God's grace and care. 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 5. Under God's mighty hand. This phrase evokes imagery of God's power and sovereignty. The mighty hand of God is a motif found throughout the Old Testament, often associated with deliverance and protection. Exodus chapter 13 verse 9, Deuteronomy chapter 5 verse 15. It suggests that believers should submit to God's authority, trusting in His ability to guide and protect them, so that in due time. The concept of due time indicates God's perfect timing. It reflects the biblical principle that God operates according to His own schedule, not human expectations. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1. This phrase reassures believers that their humility and submission will be recognized and rewarded at the appropriate time, according to God's plan. God to exalt. Exaltation here refers to being lifted up or honored by God. This promise of exaltation results from submission to God's will. Jesus stated that those who humble themselves will be exalted. Luke chapter 14 verse 11. This future exaltation can be both for spiritual growth in this life and ultimate glorification in the life to come. Believers' lessons. Humility. Humility is not self-deprecation, but recognizing our dependence on God and valuing others above ourselves. God's timing. Trust in God's perfect timing for exaltation, understanding that it may not align with our immediate desires or expectations. Under God's hand, embrace the protection and guidance of God's mighty hand, especially during trials and uncertainties. Promise of exaltation. Hold on to the hope that God will honor those who faithfully endure and remain humble. Practical humility. Practice humility, acknowledging our need for God's grace. Please subscribe, like, and share for more Galaxy videos, alerts,